What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm here to do another community challenge from a channel called the RAD Pack. And their challenge is to pick 9 movies from your childhood that defines you. So I picked my 9, and for me, my childhood is somewhat a bit hazy. I have memories of when I was a kid, but it's like a lot of missing parts. I don't know. Maybe I was just so hyper as a kid, I didn't pay attention to anything. But I remember watching movies as a kid, but I don't remember where the movies came from. It just happened to appear in front of me. But I remember watching them as a kid, but the memories of my childhood is hazy. I don't know. Maybe it was all the Ritalin I was on that. I don't know. But I don't remember much of my childhood, honestly. But it's pieces here and there. So anyway, here are my 9 movies from my childhood that I remember watching that I probably watched more than once as a kid that probably kept me quiet for an hour, hour and a half. So the first one is The Never Ending Story. I vaguely remember having the clamshell VHS tape, and the clamshell was kind of beat up because we kept on opening it and closing it, opening and closing, because I watched it. I don't think it was my movie. I think it was one of my sister's movies, and I watched it, and what I can remember from it was the wolf scared the crap out of me, and then the horse getting killed made me cry as a kid, and the statues that shot lasers scared me. So, and I wanted Falcor. It was like a half dog, half dragon, and I don't know. I kind of wanted Falcor as a pet. I wanted a pet dog dragon when I was a kid, and I think I vaguely remember shouting Falcor at the screen whenever we first came on. I don't know, but I was a kid. I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember watching Neverending Story. And the next movie, it's probably the first horror movie I watched. I don't know why I watched it, but I just happened to come across it. Maybe I woke up before anyone else did in the household and I got bored and I wanted to watch a movie. But I remember grabbing a cassette tape. I guess that looked interesting to me. And it was in one of those rentals, those video rental places where it's the clear, not exactly clamshell, but it was a clear tape. And this introduced me to a man named Freddy Krueger. And this is probably why it's one of my favorite movies in the series, because it's the one I watched first. I had no idea what the movie was about. I basically just grabbed any movie and watched it. And the movie is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. I don't think I paid much attention to it because there was vaguely what I remember was a woman turning into a cockroach. And the guy, I didn't know who his name was, Freddy Krueger. I didn't know his name was Freddy, but he was eating heads off a pizza. And I don't know if I was scared of the movie or just didn't care for it, but I just was watching it to watch it. And I don't know where everyone else was. Guess I didn't have much parental supervision as a child. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, I remember watching it. I think I remember getting it out of those video cassette drawers underneath the entertainment center. But, yeah. Next movie. I remember this movie was one of my sisters also. And she put it on for me and I watched it. And I guess that kept me quiet for an hour and a half. But the movie is called Labyrinth with David Bowie. I didn't understand the movie at all. I just know there was a lot of puppets and a lot of singing. And for some reason, I got creeped out by one of the puppets and kind of looked away from the TV. I don't know. That's the story I heard from my sisters. But I know I watched Labyrinth, I probably watched it more than once. So I got Labyrinth on my RAD 9. Uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I watched the cartoon, and I had like these cassette tapes that had cartoon episodes on it, but I don't remember when I got the movie as a kid. Maybe my mom bought it, and I watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just sat there watching turtles beating up ninjas, and I was enjoying it. And I think the most memorable one was the second one because I think I had the action figures to the second movie and the third movie, but I don't remember if I had the first movie figures. But when I was a kid, I didn't. I played rough with my toys. I kind of broke them a lot, and that kind of hurts me as an adult. The next movie is Space Jam. I don't remember when I watched it, but I know I watched it when I was a kid. But when I was watching it, I had no idea who Michael Jordan was or any of the NBA people were. I just knew I was watching a Looney Tune movie. And that's why I was watching it, because it had Looney Tunes. It was a cartoon movie. And I didn't know who Michael Jordan was. Anyone was, really. So like, oh, I want to watch the Looney Tune part. And that's it. So I remember watching it, and I think I was in elementary school when they bring in that TV that's on the wheels. It was time for a movie. They put on Space Jam, and I watched it. I think I was in second grade. I don't remember. It's vague. My memories are really vague, but yeah. Um, Richie Rich. I remember watching it, and it's probably the first time in my life where I was envious of another kid, because Richie Rich, living in a mansion, had his own McDonald's. I mean, honestly, I want a mansion with a McDonald's in it. And the kid had everything. Like, I wish I was Richie Rich. I wanted to be Richie Rich. That way I could just have every toy I wanted to play with. But yeah, I remember watching Richie Rich at home in the living room. Like, I want to be rich. Yeah, but yeah. The next one is I loved watching the Ernest movies, like Ernest Scared Stupid, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Saves Christmas. But the most memorable one I watched was Ernest Goes to Jail. And I think it's probably the first Ernest movie I watched. And the most memorable stuff is when he gets electrocuted and gets all this metal stuff stuck to him. Like when he worked in the bank. He was a janitor in the bank, and he got electrocuted somehow. And it was between these two drawers, and the drawers kind of smashed his face. I guess I thought that was funny. And the place where he lived was kind of like looked like a carnival, and he had this little dog called Rimshot. And I remember him going to jail, and he got electric powers from the electric chair, and he escaped prison with doing so. It was an odd movie, but I guess it kept me quiet for an hour and a half. But Ernest Goes to Jail was, I remember, one of my movies I watched as a kid. All right, this next movie I do not own, but you can still watch it on YouTube. And I remember, vaguely remember, it was recorded on those blank tapes. And I watched it, rewind it, and watched it again until the tape kind of broke. So I could never watch it ever again. And I watch it on YouTube, and I'm like, this is a good movie. I don't know, but it's from my childhood. Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme. Like Shelley Duvall is in it. Um, all these rock stars from the 80s are in this. I think it's a movie from 1990. And it's basically about Mother Goose's son. Um, Mother Goose's son finds out that Mother Goose has been kidnapped. So he's on the hunt through this nursery rhyme land to find her. And it's like a sing along, kinda. And Little Richard's in the movie. And that's probably the best part in the movie where he is sent to the dungeon. And this rock band is singing to him. And just go to YouTube if you're probably already on it because you watched my video. Type in Muggoose Rock and Rhyme and watch that movie. It's weird. It's a weird one, but it's got some pretty good songs. And the last one, probably my favorite video game movie ever. I remember going to the theater to watch this. My mom and me watched it when we went to the movies. And I loved playing Super Nintendo back in the day. And the movie is Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat. I remember going to the theater to watch it. I wanted to watch it because I love the video game. I love playing the video game Mortal Kombat. And I remember the exact moment where in the theater people cheered and clapped at the scene where Sub-Zero and Scorpion enters the room, and everyone was cheering. And at the time, I didn't understand why, but at the time, that was probably a really big deal because that was such a good movie. Mortal Kombat. I watched it in theater when I was a kid. Probably one of the few movies that I remember going to the theater to watch the movie as a kid. I don't remember much, but that that one was my childhood right there. So those are my 9 rad movies from my childhood that made me. So those are what I remember. My memory is kind of vaguely. There's some parts that have been erased, maybe from all the hyper medication I was on, probably. But yeah, those were the 9 movies. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you later.